Thank you very much indeed. It's
try.
Yeah, I made an effort.
No, there's another file there.
Where? I don't know who is though. Yours is? Yeah,
Hello, Charlie.
Hello.
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 Oh, are you filming us?
Yes.
Oh.
Hello.
That's it.
Hello.
I'm Jez, nice to meet you. Oh.
I was going to say, you know, you your stupid American selves on Snapchat. So do you have to open them?
That's lost.
Oh, she got it. She got it.
I think just so clear, these stories aren't going to be repeated to my uncle. Majority of babes aren't there. No, they're all Sorry, guys, I need to do nice to meet you. How are you?
She works with, well, it might be Annika, but
Oh, they're on right hand. So that.
Shouldn't need to be any standing. This row here, this is free. So come on, boys. Come on down. Yeah, everybody. My mum and dad's, or my mum's garden bamboo. Hollowed it out. Took it to school. Started to sell them. We started off selling at £1 a pop, but they were so popular and they took off that they led to a bit of a supply and demand issue. So we ended up being paid £10. I think Phil actually gave me £10 for a glorified bit of bamboo with electrical tape around it. The next one was a dog walking company. We went round and posted letters and envelopes through people's doors that we thought might want their dogs walking. One old lady took us up on it. One. 50p a walk. Essentially we were getting 25p each. I didn't see that as a sound investment in time, but Mikey carried it on. He did it for a good few years, and I'm not lying. He did it for ages. And a big Pepsi bottle in his room, and he put all those 50p's in that Pepsi bottle, and he just saved up. He was a bit of a shrewd character early on. I think that's the money that's paid for all of this. So, in a few moments, Mikey and Nicola and their immediate family will start to come down at the front. Check that I'm saying everything. Please remember that this is a celebration, and they want it to feel like one. So as they're coming down, you need to be as loud as you can, alright? We need cheering. Can we practice a cheer? We need whoops. And I've been told you're even allowed to grab them and slap their bums. So, people on the end, go for it. You're permitted to take photos and film throughout. There's no limitations on that. The only request is that if this is share the best ones on social media and do the hashtag Bottson wedding. I've been warned that during the ceremony and dinner later on there may be some audience participation. So do get involved. Yeah, there's no need to be shy. We can all have fun with that. Today's ceremony is being conducted by Nicola's dad, Colin. Good on him, right? Yeah. This is Mikey's middle name. At the end of the ceremony, stay where you are to start with, and just effectively have on your chairs the little wedding selfie, and it pains me to say this, but they've called it a whale. Yeah, so that's when they will be thrown, so save that for then. And with all that out of the way, I'll give a nod to the DJ to start the opening music.
Hey Nicola and Mikey, Ben and Kate here.
Thank you so much for letting us be part of this amazing day.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us. Now we've got some answers for your questions, so here we go. Out of the two of them, Nicola and Mikey, which one's more attractive? Why don't we answer at the same time on 3? 1, 2, 3.
Nicola.
Mikey. Hi, we're Charlie and Andrew. We met Nicola and Mikey passed out on the floor at Anzac Day. We think Nicola and Mikey are sassy, terrific, drunk.
The Bottson wedding! Hi, I'm Tom, Mikey and Nick's Turk Northern friend. When they invited me to celebrate their wedding in Ibiza, my first thought was, oh no, I can't go back there. All I'm going to say is, this time, Mikey, turn on the air conditioning.
Hey, this is Tom. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate their relationship as 83% on Rotten Tomatoes, certified fresh.
Hi, it's Helen. Right, out of the two of them, who's more attractive? Obviously Nicola, especially when she's wearing her air hostess outfit, and even when she's wearing her Easter Bunny outfit.
Hey guys, it's Derek, your favourite friend. 3 words I would use to describe Nicola and Mikey are sexy, comedy, gold.
Hey, this is Callum. Yay! Out of the two of them, Nicola and Mikey, which is more attractive?
Well, I totes bone them both.
Hi everyone, this is Carly, Nicola's cousin. When they invited me to celebrate their wedding in Ibiza, my first thought was, everybody I know is going to be so jealous.
Hey, it's Tom Harvey here, metrosexual lad with Mikey since Glasgow 2009. In the moments before they get married, the one bit of advice I would give them is let loose, love life, and don't forget the balls.
Hi, this is Ash. In the moments before they get married, one bit of advice I would give them is never go to bed on an argument. If you do, Mikey, you have to sleep with one eye open.
If we had to pick a favourite, it would be...
Alright, I would choose Nicola because I feel like she's probably got really...
Don't say that at the wedding. Have a great wedding, guys.
Senors and senoritas, this is it. The reason you are all here. Welcome to Nicola and Mikey's wedding weekend. Please clap your hands, stomp your feet, whistle and go crazy for the main man himself, introducing your crew. Yes, he is your crew. Now get ready for your next VIPs. Make some noise for the Wattsons. It's Steve, Jill, and give it up for the mother and father of the bride. It's Colin and Audrey. And finally, it's time to go crazy for the girl you all came here to see. It's your bride, Nicola.
Stand up. Si intenso, por favor. Got you. We are gathered here today in the site of Kangal to witness the marriage of Mikey and Nicola. You are all an important part of today. You will be involved in the marriage ceremony just as you'll be involved in Nicola and Mikey's married life. They sincerely thank you for being their friends and family. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. How come Nicola's dad is performing the ceremony? Let me assure you that I am a certified registrar of marriages. I went on the internet and found a site for the Nigerian International Registrars of Births, Marriages and Deaths. It's very simple to apply. Basically, all I had to do was provide Nicola and Mikey's bank details. I'm still waiting for the actual certificate, but the Nigerian Postal Service is notoriously slow. A bit later on in the ceremony, Adam and Rob will be throwing some light onto some of Mikey's darker secrets. It therefore falls upon me to dish the dirt on Nicola. Well, I'm afraid you're going to be sorely disappointed, as apart from weeing on her mother's head when she was a toddler, there's nothing else to tell you. She was a perfect baby, a perfect child, a perfect teenager, and a perfect young lady. I'm sure Mikey, Nicola will be a perfect wife. As I'm not able to pass on any of Nicola's misdeeds, I shall therefore give you a little potted history of Nicola and Bottson. Now, if I mention you during any part of this ceremony, please stand up and wave enthusiastically to the assembled throng. If you're lucky enough to be mentioned twice, you don't need to stand up again. If you fail to stand up when your name is mentioned, there will be forfeits to pay later on this evening. Nicola was born. First forfeit. Nicola was born on the 29th of December 1985 in Rochford Hospital, the same hospital that Audrey was born in 32 years earlier. At the age of 2, we moved from Eastwood in Southend to Hullbridge. When Nicola was 3, she went to St Michael's School, where she met Amy and Victoria. Nicola has always enjoyed performing, and while still in kindergarten, she enrolled herself, without our permission, for extracurricular dance lessons. She also enrolled, this time with our permission, with Ridley Studios to learn various forms of dance. There, she met Amy. At the age of 6, Nicola made her stage debut when she appeared as one of the children in the Little Theatre Club's production of Carousel. Nicola passed her 11 plus examination and joined Westcliff High School for Girls. And along with Amy and Victoria from St Michael's School and Amy from Ridley Studio, she made lasting friendships with Helen, Dal, Gemma, Laura, Natalie, Anna, Shun, and Julie, Lenka, and many others who could not be here today. I think Westcliff High School has been very influential in the lives of Nicola and her friends, instilling in them the desire to help other people, to be inclusive, and to love people because of who they are, not what they are. They are a credit to the school and a credit to their families. Nicola did well at school and achieved a place at Nottingham University to read business studies. At university, Nicola and Becky became good friends. And for 2 years they shared a house of ill repute with 5 other girls. After their final exams, Nicola and Becky went on holiday with Audrey and I to Potters near Great Yarmouth. For those of you who don't know Potters, it's an upmarket holiday camp that is predominantly frequented by people with grey hair, or in my case, no hair. Nicola and Becky's competitive spirit came to the fore, and between them they won nearly every competition that the entertainment team could put on. That holiday must have been a most memorable event, as Becky has asked Nicola to book another holiday at Potters. Immediately after university, Nicola got a temporary holiday job as a Black Thunder girl with Essex FM. She absolutely loved working for the local radio station, and soon the temporary job became a permanent job. Her talent was quickly recognised, and she was promoted to Global Radio's head office in Leicester Square. Little did Nicola realise that her decision to work in London was going to dramatically change her life. She had not been working long at Global before she decided she wanted to move in with a young man who worked at the radio station. So Nicola moved in with Callum. Prior to moving to Greenwich with Callum, Audrey and I became aware of another young man at Capital FM that had shown interest in Nicola. They had got together at a music festival on the Isle of Wight. Nicola announced that her boyfriend was going to travel down to Southend to see her in the lead role in A Little Shop of Horrors. Audrey and I were in the foyer selling programmes prior to the show and were anxiously looking around to see who we could spot. No success. The show started and I stood at the back of the auditorium to marvel at my baby performing on stage. About half an hour into the show, there was a disturbance when a group of latecomers took their seats in the front stalls. How could anyone be half an hour late? 5 minutes, yes, not half an hour. During the interval, I went down to the front of the auditorium to make myself known to Nicola's friends from Global, and yes, they were the group of latecomers. So the first time I met Mikey, he was late. He was late for Nicola's big performance. They were obviously made for each other, as Nicola is notoriously late for everything. Our first meeting with Mike was therefore not the most auspicious. We subsequently found out that he hates musicals, and he had made a great sacrifice to give his support to Nicola in Little Shop of Horrors. Despite their diametrically opposed opinions on musical theatre, something clicked between them, and they began to see more of each other, in both senses of the word. In 2012, they moved into Helen's flat in Tower Hill. Audrey and I, Steve and Jill, all thought that it wouldn't be long before they got engaged and settled down together in married life. Wrong! Nicola and Mikey didn't want to settle down. They wanted to travel round the world, and so it was off to Australia for 2 years. Nicola joined Make-A-Wish Australia, and Mikey went to work with Nova FM, where the programmes he produced went to #1 and won several awards. They moved in with Lani and Bodhi at Bondi Beach. Mikey had previously shared a home with Bodhi in a party house known as 30TC in Shoreditch, an area well known to my family as my grandparents had a shop in Brick Lane. From what I can gather, Nicola and Mikey's time in Sydney was one long party. They made many friends in Australia, including Charlie, Andrew, Tom, Johnny, Juan, David, Ben, Kate, and Carmela, who surprisingly are all here today. Mikey and Nicola's world tour was one big adventure, which included death-defying stunts such as skydiving and bungee jumping, which, fortunately for my blood pressure, I found out about after the event. So Mikey and Nicola returned to the UK, and there was still no sign of an engagement. Nicola went to work for Teenage Cancer Trust, where she met Laura and Laura. I don't know which one is which, they look so alike. And Mikey joined Kiss FM, where he quickly progressed to produce their primetime breakfast show, which was number one until this week, when the cyber attack on the computers around the world affected the result, right? And Capital became number one. So Paul, please. I'm sure it's only temporary. I would like to state that both Audrey and I love Mikey and are delighted to welcome him into our family. But, and there is a big but, I have to say that love was severely tested when they went to Florence for Amy and Sat's wedding. We were fast asleep when the phone rang at 3 o'clock in the morning and there was a very drunk person on the other end of the line asking me where I was. I explained that I was in bed and worked out that the incoherent person inquiring as to my whereabouts was Mikey. He then asked me, "Where's Nicola?" To which I replied, "She's with you in Italy." He then asked me my name, and eventually the penny dropped. He had rung the wrong number. The following day, I received a call from a very apologetic Mikey to explain that he had left a nightclub to get some fresh air and security wouldn't let him back in. The next phone call I had from Mikey was several months later, when he said that he wanted to meet up and have a drink with me, but I wasn't to tell Audrey. Now, I put 2 and 2 together, and being an accountant, I got 4. Mikey and I went to the Roebuck in Rayleigh, and being the old-fashioned sort that he is, he wanted me to be the first to know that he was going to propose to Nicola. Although I was expecting it, I still got emotional, and I could only nod my approval. Eventually, Mikey and Nicola got engaged on the 18th of December 2015, just before Nicola's 30th birthday. Christmas 2015 was a very busy and exciting time in the Bott household. We were invaded by the Yanks, Nicola's cousins from America, Natalie, Adam, and Carly, together with their families and Carly's boyfriend Matt. They came to stay for the festive period. During the Christmas lunch, Christmas crackers were pulled, and an engagement ring came flying out of one of the crackers, and Matt proposed to Carly in front of us all. Can you believe it? You've waited for years and years for an engagement, and suddenly 2 come along at the same time. We were joined on Boxing Day by Mikey's parents, Steve and Jill, and his sister Claire. It was whilst holidaying with Claire and her husband Ranji that Nicola and Mikey decided that they wanted to get married in Ibiza. No traditional wedding for them. No suits, no hats, no walking down the aisle. I had to hide behind a bush and then dance down the aisle. And so we find ourselves today here to celebrate the marriage of Mikey and Nicola. Marriage. What is all about? What is it all about? What is the secret of a happy marriage? Well, Mikey and Nicola, with the help of your friends and family, we will now impart the secret of a happy marriage. Please be upstanding. Would you please join in with the sacred words and the sacred movements of the ancient ritual. Please follow me. Put your right arm in, your right arm out. In, out, in, out. You shake it all about. You do the hokey cokey and you turn around. That's what it's all about. Please be seated. Yes, that is what it is all about. Having fun. Married life is far too serious to be taken seriously. When times are hard and you are feeling down, you will remember doing the hokey cokey during your marriage ceremony, and a smile will return to your faces. We will now proceed to that part of the ceremony that will wipe the smile off of Mikey's face. It is time for the best mates speeches. I invite Adam and Rob to take centre stage.
Where do we go? Over there. Yeah, over here. There we are. Hello? You do that? Pull it off and down. Oh, gee. Oh, there we go.
On. Hello. There we are. Just hold it. Yeah. Yeah. We haven't done a dress rehearsal, so I've not gigged for ages. Right. Steve, that was Colin. First joke. Thanks, Steve. Colin, thank you. That was a tough speech to follow. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, good afternoon. It's great to see you all here at Mikey and Nick's wedding. Hashtag Bottson wedding. Mikey has given us the honour of saying a few words about him for the ceremony. Typically this would be the role of the best man. But since he's shared the responsibilities around his friendship group, we can only assume that we are the best men.
So you might be asking yourself, what makes a Bottson? What inspires him? What does the future hold? We're going to use our speech to help Nicola discover what sort of family she's marrying into in a speech we're calling, What's in a Bottson? We hope that by looking at the broader Bottson clan, we can help you shine a little light on the man you'll be with forever and ever and ever and ever.
Thank you, Adam. So, Nicola, you'll be pleased to know you're joining a long, long line of Wattsons. Of course, there's Jill, and Steve, and Claire, but today we will reveal the broader Bottson family.
Greats like Bruce Bottson, who played second navigation officer on the original series of Star Trek. Or St. Mirren right back Keith Bottson, sadly retired from the game.
Damn it, Keith. Our first Bottson is Samuel Bottson, OBE, agent of the Durham Miners Association and member of the British Labour Party's National Executive Committee. Thank you. Samuel Bottson had shit hair, as did Mikey in 1998, courtesy of Mum Jill. Mikey he'd booked in with Jill for his fortnightly grade 4 buzz cut. However, this particular haircut would change Mikey's school profile. While sat comfortably at home, Jill hadn't put the clipper guide on and proceeded to buzz an off-centre 0.5 strip down Michael's head. Now, in an attempt to style it out, oh, it was Claire!
The truth comes out.
We have got the truth. Wow. That's the second thing I've cocked up. So, anyway, in an attempt to style it out, Jill took the grade 4 clipper guide out and buzzed the rest of it, telling Mikey it just looked fine. Anyway, it was Mikey's bizarre agreement that gave rise to the Badger haircut. So infamous was this cut that even the local gypsies near our school crashed into school for a school fight just to look at Mikey's head.
Now the serious bit. If we could all take a moment, I'd like to introduce the next Watson with a reading from the Bible, Isaiah 40:11. Bow. Like a shepherd, he will tend his flock. In his arm he will gather the lambs and carry them to his bosom. He will gently lead the nursing ewes. Amen. Wise words indeed, and the sort of words you might hear on a Sunday morning from Bishop Andrew John Watson of Guildford. Like the Bishop Andrew John Watson of Guildford, Mikey is very much the shepherd of his flock, and that's what we call a linking thing. I first met Mikey as a prospective flatmate in a property in Brick Lane. Our first impression of him, that he was definitely the coolest person we'd interviewed. His first impression of me is that he thought I was probably gay. Throughout our time in Tomlinson Close, we shared a bedroom wall, and we know each other better than most. But Mikey was the glue that held the whole flat together. Whether house parties or clubbing, someone to have a pint with, or someone to suggest the latest pop-up fad, you can always count on Mikey to bring the fun. It's thanks to him that I ever considered going to Glastonbury, and thanks to him for introducing me to all you lovely people. Yeah, clap yourselves, you egomaniacs. While definitely one of the lads, he was equally friendly with the girls, taking a particular interest in anything Anne would care to reveal. Honestly, I think without him we wouldn't have been such a close group of friends. Let's hear it from Mikey.
So, on to our next Watson, Clayton Watson. Any ideas? No. Matrix Reloaded fame. He was the kid. So, Clayton is an Australian. He's a producer, he's an actor, and a director. Mikey, also being the producer, almost ended his broadcasting career quite early on in his days. Whilst working at Heart FM, Mikey was left in charge of the pre-recorded breakfast show. Demonstrating his production skills, Mikey fell asleep for 20 minutes and gave the Heart listeners the best 20 minutes of radio silence they've ever heard.
Tut, 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 Mikey. But not all Watsons are so pious, and this would be a good time to talk about the darker side of the family name. The year is 1969, and Manson family member Tex Watson was tried and convicted of triple homicide and sentenced to spend the rest of his life behind bars. While Mikey's crimes may be less serious in the eyes of the law, he is no less guilty. This is now time for me to get something off my chest. It's been on there for 10 years. It was not long after Christmas I was keen to share my favourite gift, the board game Risk. For those of you who don't know, you basically command an 18th century army using only your wits and a succession of dice rolls. Pretty cool stuff for some Shoreditch-dwelling 20-somethings, I thought. How wrong I was. The eye roll was audible when I invited Mikey to join us. I think he had serious second thoughts about whether he wanted to live with us. And dare I say, his ignorance of tabletop warfare swayed the other players away from a thrilling evening of board game battling. This was a watershed moment in our lives. What followed were years of pubs, clubs, festivals, ultimately culminating in this wedding in sunny Ibiza. Just think, if he was willing to sit down and play a nice board game, we could have all saved the airfare and done this somewhere miserable. Thank you very much.
Our next Watson is Al Joseph Watson Jr., of basketball fame.
Anyone?
Yeah, I didn't know who he was either. Born in 1979, that was also the same year, roughly, that Mikey's first car was manufactured. His beloved Peugeot 205, better known as Guppy, or the Red Sparrow. It was the fastest four-geared car in Northampton, and the car upon which Mikey spent more money on crash repair than
than the car's original value. Born September 4th, 1949, Tom Bottson is an American professional golfer who played on the PGA Tour. Mikey has many things in common with the legendary golfer. They both have brown hair, they're both 5'9", and they're both called Bottson. Although it's hard to find similarities when it comes to golf, I thought I'd share some of his handicaps. Thanks. So, reading books, black and white films, films with subtitles, black and white films with subtitles, Bruce Springsteen, art galleries, the board game Risk, musicals, documentaries not about animals.
Our next Watson is Charles Akeem Watson Jr., another basketball player for the Orlando Magic. Now, whilst Mikey and I were members of our school basketball team, Mikey is an all-out team player. Whether that be in the form of participating in a 90-kilometre charity ride, riding Steve's rusty rally mountain bike, flying thousands of miles from Australia for a good night out with the Northampton boys, or merely watching Dad Steve cleaning vomit off their neighbour's drive after a heavy night out. Now, on that particular occasion, and being the stand-up team player that Mikey is, Mikey didn't offer to help Steve, but instead filmed Steve cleaning the sit-up from a bedroom window whilst overdubbing with Mikey's infamous giggle.
What's our next Bottson, you might ask? Maybe not by this point. But Wilson Douglas Watson is a name that goes down in military history. He earned the nickname One-Man Regiment at Iwo Jima, killing 90 enemy soldiers in battle. Like his bloodthirsty namesake, Mikey is known to have a dangerous taste in sports, and has nearly killed me on more than one occasion. Whether iron runs, bull runs, or ill-advised games of rugby, Mikey is certainly a dangerous man to know. Hey! Our final Watson of the evening should come as no surprise to Nicola. Sensitive, caring and thoughtful, Mikey has learned a lot from Emma Watson's stance on feminism. Like a mix between Mel B and Lionel Messi, he bravely stands up for all women and certainly doesn't partake in the sort of locker room talk so popular with young men his age. He's so modern with his thinking, he even lets Nicola out the house all by herself to go watch musicals. It's this respect for women that has led him to finding one of the best ones out there. To all the lucky ladies in Mike's life, cheers.
So I hope you've all discovered a little bit more about Mikey and what is a Watson.
Nicola, you've got an absolute keeper here. You know that. Mikey is the gentleman of all gentlemen. Sort of, yeah. He's a great listener. And questioner. In fact, he's so good at listening that he does claim to be able to hear sign language. Whilst also being the only person to know Victoria's Secret. Mikey isn't the one you deserve, Nicola. Mikey is the one you need. Mikey is, and always will be, an absolute hero. Mikey and Nick, we wish you every happiness in your future together.
Thank you, Adam and Rob, for that expose, which may well affect the latter part of the ceremony. I would now like to invite to the front Amy Dowse, Lani, and the real Steve, who have some special messages.
Amy, and I've been friends with Nicola for over 20 years. We did ballet together. She was a graceful lady. We went to school together. We worked at VHS together, along with Anna back there. We, know that Anna? No, that's Anna. We even performed in Amgram together. Obviously, she was the talented, all-singing, all-dancing lead, as Colin said. I was the awkward one at the back who couldn't see anything without my glasses. So I've written a short poem, but before I start, I just wanted to say, Nicola, you're an amazing friend, and I'm so lucky to have you in my life, as we all are, and I'm so happy for you both today. Can we also just give them a huge round of applause for organising this epic wedding? Giving, receiving, oh God, having and sharing. Sitting over here, they make a gorgeous pairing. Him in his finery, her in a frock, her beautiful face, his giant socks. We're here on the island for this special day in our mood board clothes. Oh, what a love Nicola and Mikey share. Like Aladdin and Jasmine, or Sunny and Cher. But unlike those couples, there's no fame or riches. The Bottsons are normal, like the rest of you bitches. They're so lucky to have found each other, don't you all think? But let's face it, they're anyone's once they both have a drink. Oh, what a love Nicola and Mikey have got. True to her name, she loves his hot pot. Nicola fights against cancer in her jogger to charity. Mikey produces the breakfast show, causing great hilarity. It's a sausage or two they want, of the canine kind. They'll be called Missy and Milo, they've made up their mind. Oh, what a love Nicola and Mikey give. They moved down under for a few years to live. But now they're back, and the Aussies all cried. After 2 years away, Bot's pale skin had fried. Now they're in Hackney, living the East London life, where giant pot plants, top buttons and beards are rife. Oh, what a love Nicola and Mikey receive. Her hair is luscious and his doesn't recede. Mikey, always be nice and never mistreat her, or I'll kill you and bury you right here in heaven. I wish them love and joy until the end. What is found her love still. Her true love and best friend.
Mind your eye for a minute. Over the last 2 days, I've listened to a number of conversations about babies, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about Mike when he was a young boy. Basically, to warn Nicola about what life is going to be like post-baby stage. Mike was a very active child and learnt to walk at 6 months old. At bath time, when he'd finished splashing water up the walls and over the side of the bath, I used to get him out and stand him so that he'd hold on to the toilet while I pulled the plug out of the bath and generally cleaned up. The day he first walked, I stood him up as normal, turned round to deal with the bath, looked back, and there he was, gone! I caught up with him just as he was deciding whether to head for his bedroom or try for the stairs. Real heart attack country for those of you with toddlers. It didn't take very long to learn how to turn the television on and work the video recorder. At first, his favourite programme was Thomas the Tank Engine, voiced by one Ringo Starr, who was the drummer in a well-known 60s pop group called the Beatles. Now, for those who don't know, Thomas carried number 1. Edward was number 2,
and Henry was number 3. Now, I first learned to count by the engines. So the answer to the question, where do you live, was, I live at Henry Solsey Rise. Engine numbers 6 and 7 were Percy and Toby, and Mike was not allowed to get up and go downstairs until it was Percy and Toby on the clock. You can work it out. Hand on Percy, number 6, little hand on Toby, number 7. That's 7:30. However, there were some mornings when confusion reigned, and he got up at Toby and Percy. For anyone not keeping up, that's 25 to 6. Meaning Dad had to get up, chase round after him, and get him back to bed. From Thomas, Mike graduated to cartoon characters, and on the Saturday morning, He-Man started at 8 o'clock. And for 30 minutes there was peace in the house. Absolute silence while he was glued to the television. As soon as the programme was finished, there was a crash as the lounge door opened. Then the stairs shook and vibrated as he pounded up and raced along the landing. And then our bedroom door was flung open, and there was a little figure there proclaiming in a very loud voice, "By the power of Grayskull!" At which point, Jill and I had to sit there and dodge around in the bed while he enacted He-Man's adventures of the day. Finally, Nicola, I'd like you to advise you to start saving now, to save for the running expenses of a boy and bike simultaneously. Mike used to ride his bike on slick tyres because he wore the tread off so quickly by skidding around every corner. However, good news, there's no expense on brakes. He just didn't use them. If he needed to slow down or turn, it was just a case of putting his toes on the ground and wearing out his shoes. We kept the local shoe shop in business for a long time, almost single-handedly. So when I asked Mike how long I had to speak for, he told me to keep it fairly short. So as I've now been speaking for golden minutes, it's time for me to sit down, and I'll leave you with a couple of mementos for today.
Hello everyone, my name's Lani and I also wrote a poem. Clearly they're on trend. Okay, so let's take a walk down memory lane as we sit in the sunshine sipping beer and champagne. When we first met, he was called Mickey Ditch, and safe to say our friendship took off without a glitch. In London we lived at 30TC, there were 7 of us in a house fit for 3. Living with Mikey, oh wow, I mean crikey. Eating wraps at every meal and taking the mick, but then he brought home the wonderful Nick. They were at a festival to meet another, but as fate would have it, they only had eyes for each other. From that day on, they decided to date, and we all knew that this day was fate. Life with Mikey could never be boring, and Nick with his zest and love of exploring. They went off to Sydney to the sun, sand and sea, where Bondi was waiting with Bodie and me. Mikey and Nick got into their fitness, but learning to surf was funny to witness. From city to surf to other fun runs, trips to the Hunter and soaking up sun. They tried to embrace the Aussie slang, but Nick never lost that Essex twang. With no good curries and shopping at Coles, the lack of crisps began taking its toll. But this pain was numbed by trips and great friends, skydiving, camel rides and skiing weekends. Rooftop parties in Sydney harbour cruises, sunburnt English skin turning into bruises. Although it was fun and how hard we did try, but in the end the UK won over Bondi. One last hurrah at Coachella was needed, fireballs, rave dogs as parties were exceeded. Saying goodbye on a lawn in LA was one of the most awful of days. Trips to Vegas, Chicago and New York City, Mikey's bank account not looking pretty. Moving home it seemed far from fun, Nick with a job and Mikey with none. Mikey'd been saving his pennies for years and planned a proposal that reduced Nick to tears. Mikey waited until the timing was right, popping the question at home on a silent night. So here we are at a villa in Spain, watching our Nick marry her ball and chain. One piece of advice I can part on to you is when things get tough or don't go your way, remember how you felt on this lovely day.
Thanks to the wind, I'm not on the right page. Thank you for those kind words. We are rapidly approaching the grand finale when Mikey and Nicola commit to spending the rest of their lives together, where they become husband and wife, but not Mr. and Mrs. That is far too traditional for them. But before that, Nicola and Mikey will explain why they wish to marry each other.
Nicola. There are so many things that I adore about you, and it's often said that it's the little things that make you really love a person, but for me, it's more simple than that. You have 4 amazing qualities that make me love you more every day. Number 1, you're hilarious. You're always so much fun to be around. We've been on so many incredible adventures together, and everywhere you go, you always have me and others in stitches. Some people might say you are the funniest person they know. 2, you're so easygoing. You get on with everyone you meet, and everyone you meet loves you. You allow me to be me, and you let me get away with murder. How can I not love you for that? 3, you want what I want. I love the fact we are so in tune with each other. It feels like every thought I've had since we've been together has been matched by yours. From moving in together, to living in Australia, and then deciding to have our wedding here, there's never been a dilemma between us, and I feel so lucky to have found someone who matches me perfectly. And 4, the final quality I adore about you is that there's one thing in this world that we both share an equal love for. And despite the fact that our friends take the piss out of us, you are unashamed to admit it, and you proudly tell the world about it. And that quality is you love Toby Carvery as much as I do. Clearly we are a match made in heaven. These are the reasons I want to marry you.
Branded cue Well, I have to say you guys smashed it, because it looks like I'm looking at a real life version of our mood board. So typically on a wedding, people usually comment how beautiful the bride looks, and I expect that to happen today, because I do want to take a moment just to say how great Mikey is looking at the moment. He's worked so hard over the last couple of months to tone up Butler, and I think he's looking almost as good as my butler in the bump on the hen do. Ready? So apart from his hot bod and his massive personality, why do I want to marry Mikey? That's a good question. It's weird thinking back to when I met Mikey. It was my first day at my new job at Capital FM, and my boss was showing me around and introducing me to everyone. And I remember thinking, oh my god, there are so many hot guys here. I wonder how many of them are straight. The answer wasn't that many. But my boss then took me over to the producers' table, where there was straight, spiky-haired, cheeky, chappy Mikey. And he turned round to me and he went,
Right? Now, this is your classic love at first sight story. Unfortunately, the guy I fell in love with was not Mikey. It was the guy that was sitting next to Mikey. Now, Faye and Paul, you are absolutely sworn to secrecy with this part of the story because you actually know what I'm talking about. So I'm not very good with people, I fancy. I start sweating a lot. So I actively avoided this guy for about a year and a half and became closer friends with Mikey as a result of this, because I thought if I become friends with Mikey, I'll get closer to said hottie. The more time I spent with Mikey, the more I laughed, the more I enjoyed work, and the more I started sweating. And I slowly realised, oh my god, I fancy Mikey. And I've not stopped fancying him since. But I have stopped sweating. So the last 6.5 years have been an interesting journey. I've learned a lot of things about Mikey. He hates musical theatre, my biggest passion in life. He has a terrible temper. If you haven't heard the bagel story, please come and ask me about this later because it's a classic. Whereas I'm always a lot more calm. Mikey is always on the lookout for the dirtiest grave, the highest bungee jump, or the fastest car. Whereas I'm quite happy curled up on the sofa, watching a good movie, with my big pink fluffy dressing gown, comfortable with big pink fluffy slippers, which most of you will know, Mikey calls that fucking Easter Bunny outfit. But we do have some things in common, of course. We both find dogs hilarious. We both love a good mood board. And that's about it. What I'm trying to say is with us, it's the classic tale of opposites attract. I remember when we were living with Lani and Bodie in Bondi, and Lani was overhearing a conversation between me and Mikey about how I wanted to buy some glittery Converse, and he thought this was tragic. And Lani said, oh my god, if I knew that Mikey was going to end up with a pop bloody theatre girl like me, he would have thought he was mad, and I had to do a break to Converse. But all I know is that for some strange reason, our relationship works, and I love it. I love the fact that we're different. I love the fact that he makes me laugh. I love the way he cares for his family, especially how much he adores his granddad. I love how ambitious he is, how brilliant and creative he is at his job. I love how supportive he is of my job and how he regularly donates to the charities I work for. So you do need to sign up to take Teenage Cancer Job. I love how much people love him. People always say to me all the time, I love Mikey. Very opinionated, but he's great. I love how he's such a good friend, sometimes a better friend to my friends than me. I love how productive he is, and I appreciate the way that he forces me out of bed on a weekend to make the most of them. I love the way he pats me at lunch every day at work. I love the way he sings in the shower. And sometimes when he pretends to do a little tap dance. I still really hope there's a secret theatre lover in there somewhere. I love how easy he is to live with. I've loved all our adventures around the world. I love how we always think the same. I love how he cares and supports me. I love our silly games and our handshakes. I love how open he is with his feelings, even if it is to tell me this is the one thing that's going to make me break up with you. I love the way he proposed and put so much effort into planning the perfect surprise. And I love the fact that we get to share this experience together. Even though we argue with each other every single little decision, down to what font we need to use in the emails, I have actually enjoyed sharing this experience. So I want to end with a quote from one of our friends. I've never told him because I was saving it for this moment. Now this person who said this probably won't remember because he was extremely high at the time, but it really struck a chord with me. And this person was saying on a night out in Freedom Bar how great Mikey is for being so accepting of people, no matter what their race, religion, age, background, sexual preference, gender, or now even transgender tendencies. Mikey does not bat an eyelid. He just sees the person for who they are, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And this person said that Mikey was an exemplary human being. And I thought that's probably the best compliment you can give anyone. So if that's the case, I better lock this shit down.
pertaining to the Nigerian registrars of Friends and family, would you please start your stopwatches, as we're being charged by the minute and Amy is very expensive. Nicola and Mikey, would you please join me at the altar? Jill and Audrey, are you willing to be witnesses to this crime? Wedding. Mikey and Nicola, are you ready to commit your lives to each other? I would therefore ask that if anyone knows of any lawful impediment why these two should not be married, please keep it to yourselves, as today has cost a lot of money and there's no refunds. Mikey and Nicola, are you both legally free to marry each other? Mikey, Colin, good choice. Watson, do you take Nicola and Bot to be your wife? To love her, laugh with her, and support her always? Nicola and Bot, do you take Mikey, Colin, Watson to be your husband? To love him, laugh with him, and support him always?
I do.
I therefore pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride for your Would you please grab your confetti and gather round Nicola and Mikey to take some selfies and group shots. We're going to take a couple of photos without confetti and then some with you throwing confetti.
That's really worked. Oh my god, it's like a neighbour doesn't credit. Oh my god, that's amazing. That's amazing.